Hello, the channel. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're all well and enjoying the weekend. Lots of fun stuff happening outside. Sorare, obviously, the FA Cup and everything's on, so that's usually good viewing. But, anyways, Celtic won 4-1, which was a good result in the end. Not really ideal for SO5 with Alistair Johnson conceding the penalty and no clean sheet, which is a bit unusual for Celtic. But Celtic are back again midweek. We do have a pretty big midweek coming compared to sort of recent standards or over Christmas. So we have the English Premier League's running with a card after the FA Cup. The Bundesliga's running. I think we might actually have some La Liga games as well. So, anyways, we'll move on to the preview. We'll have a look at Celtic lineup again, and we'll do some actual lineup building. I know that that's not really been something I've done as much recently. So we'll have a look at that as well, and maybe plug in a couple of teams. So this is the Celtic lineup. We'll go over this quickly before we go through the preview, just to mix it up a little. Contender isn't open this week because you see on the left-hand side, there's only Dundee and Celtic and Rangers and Aberdeen under current rules. Contender, cash comps, divisions don't open. So Kasper Schmeichel, 95%. Kasper's been excellent this season. Didn't really do anything wrong at Ross County. Celtic conceded a penalty, is what it is. Greg Taylor, 80%, completely rested, was on the bench. Valley played pretty well, to be honest. Tellingly at the end, when Valley was taking off, Liam Scales come on as a bit of cover. At that point, Celtic were winning 2-1, so I think that was slightly tactical as well to try and close out the game. And Celtic went on to score a third and the fourth. Got Trusty and Scales as the favourites, obviously, to start as centre backs. My only reservation with Carter Vickers played a lot of games in a row, and the pitch was like -8, -9. The pitch was rock solid, and he has in the past had some issues with playing on the sort of plastic pitch or whatever down at Kilmarnock. So I think he's more of a risk than Trusty midweek. Celtic do play Kilmarnock on Saturday in the Scottish Cup, so you would imagine that Scales will come back in for that game, even if he doesn't play these games. Alistair Johnson again, 90%. Might see some minutes getting managed soon, or maybe see Ralston. Small chance of Ralston in this game. More of a chance for Ralston in the Cup. Celtic then play Young Boys in the Champions League on Tuesday night, which is crucial for Celtic to qualify. Cal McGregor did get a rest before the Rangers game. Maybe he'll just be completely left out against Kilmarnock. Maybe you'll see Bernardo starting that position against Kilmarnock. Arnie Engels been really, really good. Seems to be finding his stride, but again, he will have to have some form of rest before some of these big games coming up. Favour on Luke McCowan here. I mean, Hatate, I think, played fine. Luke McCowan come on and scored. The main reason I favour him is Celtic are playing Dundee, and he used to play with Dundee, so I think that that might just get him the nod in terms of familiarity with their team, the surroundings, just completely on rotation, just to keep Hatate fresh as well ahead of the big upcoming games. Got Maeda back in at 60%. It's an interesting one. I've said in the comments, which you can't see here, that I think that you could easily just see Furuhashi, Ida and Yang again, with Maeda and Kuhn coming from the bench. Low Celtic did concede. They created lots of chances. Furuhashi sat out a few games recently, so you could see, for example, Furuhashi, Ida and Yang, and then Ida starting up top in the Cup, maybe with Maeda or Nicholas Kuhn starting there, and Yang just getting a run in the team to take some of the pressure off Nicholas Kuhn from sort of workload, and also, just from a point of view of a bit of development for Yang. Celtic are quite far clear in the league, and also, Yang's not had much game time, so these are good chances to give him games. And as much as I love Nicholas Kuhn, he does get the odd niggle with thigh things, and he had a wee issue with his back at one point, so I don't think he's really capable of playing that high intensity, playing all the time thing with the 3 games a week, which, it's like a lot of players, nothing really unusual there. So in terms of the overall preview for midweek, as I said, there's a lot on, which is a lot of fun, really. So let's go through the overview, because there is an All-Star Open with reasonable prizes. That's where a lot of people who follow the channel will play their Celtic cards, so it's good to know what the other options are as well. Bayern Munich against Hoffenheim, 3.39 XG and nearly 50% clean sheet percentage. So Bayern are a pretty strong team. Musiala was missing at the weekend. I don't know if he'll be back or not. So that'll be an interesting one. I'll need to do a bit of digging on that and see whether they're just being cautious with him. Celtic versus Dundee, we mentioned 2.69 XG and 54% clean sheet percentage. Just a tough game though, so it's one of those. You're probably just putting your team in all star, looking to try and pick up something nice. I think that a lot of the other teams will focus on the divisions and the cash, etc. So we'll see if there's anything that really properly stands out. But with our divisions open, I think people will tend to put those cards into those divisions. Newcastle against Wolves. Well, I watched Wolves against Nottingham Forest that night. I thought Wolves played okay. Nottingham Forest are a really well-oiled machine, quite solid, good in the counter-attack. I think Newcastle have too much for them though. 2.34 XG, 41% clean sheet percentage. We'll divide this into the regions just in a wee minute. Just go through the top fixtures. Manchester United get the plum draw against Southampton. Just a shame that they're Manchester United this year. That's all my own banter. Come back here for some more great banter. I'm only on the Coke Zero as well. It's not. I can't even say it's because I'm on the Moretti or the Madri or whatever. Arsenal against Spurs will be a good game. Spurs are interesting every time you think, maybe they're a bit of a soft touch, they've got injuries and everything, they just turn up and beat Liverpool and things. So that'll be a real interesting game. I don't know if Spurs have got any players back. 2.34 XG for Arsenal and 40% clean sheet percentage. Dortmund against Holstein Kiel. Dortmund, I wouldn't fancy them to keep a clean sheet. Schlotterbeck, I think, was ill or something, missed training. They had a real makeshift back four out. And Kiel, although they're not doing that well, they did score at the weekend as well. Rangers against Aberdeen. As Ibrox, up a real powder keg one. Leverkusen doing pretty well. They're playing Mainz. Anything stand out with that 48% clean sheet percentage for Inter Milan, which is not really that unusual. And then there's nothing else standing out too much. So we'll go in and we'll divide it up into the relative regions. So champion wise, there are some games out with the individual games, which I'll come back to in a wee minute. But so obviously you get the Italian games on. You've got Atalanta, who are actually a licensed club. There's no Serie A, obviously, contest. We have Inter Milan there, who I'd mentioned a wee minute ago as well. But not that many games. So Atalanta Juventus should be a good game. At AC Milan against Como, who Como are buying lots of good players, so that is a lot of fun in itself. Yeah, and before I go and divide it into the English Premier League, etc., we'd keep an eye on the guys Como are signing. Obviously, signing like Maxence Kakary, Asana Diao's a really exciting player. Picking up some pretty good players, Como, so might become a bit more of a threat. Premier League, I mentioned earlier, I think I mentioned La Liga. That was incorrect. La Liga's not back until next weekend. So Newcastle against Wolves, mentioned earlier. Wolves susceptible to getting beat by a couple, so interesting. As your prime chance for your Manchester United stack. Angerim, well, I think there's a wee bit some more signs of progress getting a good result against Liverpool, so you'd expect Manchester United to beat Southampton. Arsenal against Spurs, mentioned earlier. Man City against Brentford, real interesting one. Brentford are quite a fun team and they score goals, but, they're not really the best defensively. I wish I had run the 5 against Southampton and just, gambled on flicking, keeping a clean sheet, but hindsight is a wonderful thing. That was a mistake in hindsight, but there we go. That'll be a fun game. You'd imagine it'll be a good few goals. Manchester City managing to rotate guys, take some minutes off Haaland, etc. In the FA Cup. Chelsea against Bournemouth. Again, Chelsea maybe not in vintage form at the moment, but that'll be an interesting one. 2.1 XG for Chelsea. Liverpool against Nottingham Forest. Pretty tough game. I think that'll be quite tight because Liverpool are an excellent team. They've been doing very well. They have been more renowned for being the best defensive team in the league this season. Nottingham Forest set up very well. You can definitely see Nottingham Forest scoring in that game anyway. Brighton against Ipswich, I might take my own advice and actually just line up something sort of Brighton-wise. João Pedro's kind of struggling a wee bit. They've had some other injuries to Minty, etc. So, predicting the lineup might be a wee bit easier. Crystal Palace against Leicester. Leicester struggling a bit. Fulham against West Ham. So, full card there, which is quite interesting. And then last sort of region, I think, to highlight is Bundesliga. So Bayern, pretty much standout fixture. Dortmund, if they come good. I think that Leverkusen against Mainz could be the one there as well. Wirtz, I think, missed the start. Him and Palacios or somebody else were caught traffic or whatever, and they didn't start because the manager took a view on that. So imagine they'll be back in. It's not like been dropped around, just get stuck in traffic, but they were late. Werder Bremen against Heidenheim, 1.93 XG. Union Berlin with 42% clean sheet percentage. Augsburg not really been that good this season. I've been following a wee bit because that's where Celtic got Arne Engels from. Stuttgart against Leipzig could be a fun game. Leipzig are not brilliant this season, so they're well capable, but could be a decent game for Stuttgart stacks. And I think St. Pauli sort of standing out there. I mean, St. Pauli are decent in Bochum, have been pretty poor, so it could be a game where you get a bit of joy with the old St. Pauli players. So let's have a quick look at my own players, and then we'll have a look at the competitions, and then we'll plug in a few teams. This Sunday, and I've been good this weekend. Not been had any beer or anything, so I'm feeling quite fresh. We could go for a longer one. Kasper Schmeichel up there up top, no real surprise. Hradecki, I wouldn't trust to keep a clean sheet in any stretch of the imagination ever. I hate him. I don't know why I've not just sold these rare and just bought somebody else. Probably just should, rather than just coming on and saying I hate him, but just been pretty useless. I think he's a lot of times if Leverkusen dominate the ball and maybe he doesn't get a lot of action, then he doesn't really get AA, so he's a bit annoying. Raya, yeah, interesting. I think Spurs capable of scoring, you would have said. Obviously, as Harry Kane would say, obviously. Alisson, yeah, away from home. I mean, that could be a tight game. Nottingham Forest set up, particularly away from home, they're quite well organised. They may well play to be a bit more frustrating at home. They're a really good home team. I don't know as much about their setup at home, but we'll see how that transpires. Emi Martinez, interesting one. Not had the best seasons, last 15 of 46. Aston Villa a bit of up and down, but they're creeping up the league now. Just in time to play in Celtic in the end of the month down in Birmingham. I'm going to go down for that as well. Just take a drive down, enjoy the game. Don't have tickets around at the moment. Never know, but we'll see what happens there. Robert Sanchez there as well. Defence-wise, it's a shame about Ferdi Kadioglu. I think he'll be good at Brighton. Just missed a lot of games with injuries, etc. Bernabei's back at Celtic, but he's not actually at Celtic. He will be moving to Brazil in some shape, I think. So that project score, completely ignore. He won't play midweek. Carter Vickers, Johnson, Trusty, usual suspects there for Celtic, scoring very well in the up the back. Sorare was ill, so there might be news that he might come back in. I definitely will be using him if he's okay, but see, that's difficulty with doing teams just now. I'm going to pick some, but you don't know whether you can line these guys up. Saliba, quite a good projected score there against Spurs, quite interesting. Julian Timber's been pretty good this season as well. Maxence Lacroix, I actually sold his super rare fairly cheap, which was an out of season one, but yeah, I wish maybe we would have kept that. He does put in some good scores. Ross Barkley's an interesting one. Luke McCowan, 30% on the sheet here. I understand that because he doesn't start many games, but I think there's maybe a wee increased chance of him starting. Palacios should come back in for Leverkusen, hopefully, unless that's dropped. Michael Lise, really good last game. Baleba could be an outside one for Brighton. I mean, he doesn't get many goals or assists or anything, but he is a fairly strong AA player, so interesting. Will Matt O'Reilly get back in? He was on the bench in the FA Cup, so could well be back in. I think Echeverri now is going to Manchester United. I've seen his name down the list there. Bukayo Saka's injured, that's a shame for him. Good game for Cole Palmer, so if you've got Cole Palmer card, better be hoping he's not getting an error led to goal. Mo Salah, Quinny winning the Mo Salah rare midweek. Go on yourself, Quinny. I don't know, I know you don't always watch this because you've got all your own content to do. But well done, mate. I was glad to see that. Really strong card. It was a star, but that just shows you in these midweeks, sometimes people, there's no divisions or anything. Okay, but if Celtic bash up Dundee and you get up the top and you get a star and you pull a limited Mo Salah or whatever, well, or you might pull a guy who's good from another region, but limited wise, usually you can sell them if it's a star or the tier ones or whatever. So there we go. All is not lost, and also Celtic do rotate. Fine well Celtic are going to go strong against young boys like a week on Tuesday. Next weekend's a cup, so remember there's no Celtic game next weekend. But if Celtic do rotate midweek, you're not getting relegated, etc. as well. So on to doing some of the selections. What is happening with specials and the like for this midweek? So we've got special event win tickets for the NBA Paris game. I don't know if does that actually apply to football, or is it just there? And yeah, maybe it is actually. Bit of cross marketing there between football and NBA. Don't mind it. I just don't really play NBA, so I don't know the rules or anything. We've got All Star Open. I think that's okay. There's not as much on midweek. As I said earlier, we've got Premier League opened. We've got Bundesliga. We've got Champion opened as well. So Premier League, I do still have that D1 entry. Won a couple £100 there, which was absolutely brilliant. So let's have a look at that, and I'll show you how to use the spreadsheet if I get onto the right tab. So this is a spreadsheet from Sorare Probabilities. I know I mention this quite a lot. Obviously, you guys get a lot of the information through this because a gal kindly lets me use it for this as well. Good promotion, hopefully, for his product. It is a couple of euros a month. I would highly recommend it because this draws in all your own players, right? So, I'll show you how you would use it to build some lineups. So, first and foremost, I've went right in here end season, but I do actually have a classic chance of maybe running super rare. So, I don't know if I'll put that in All Star or not. So let's have a look at the rewards quickly. Reason being, we want to see what's the maximum. So I could win a tier 1 in All Star. So that's interesting. I'll probably have like some Celtic teams in there though, so I don't really need to play in there, if you know what I mean. And then I've got a D2 entry for English Premier League. So rewards wise, you could win a tier 2. It's not brilliant. I think I've got a champion super rare D2. If you get anything better than a tier 2 there, then I'll probably play that. Has it got to be a tier 2 as well? Yeah, it's also a tier 2. So this point feels just selling them, to be honest, but that's not the point, right? We're here to do some lineup building. I kind of do, I talk about this a lot, but from a super rare point of view, this is where Sorare struggle. They don't have the supply to make D2s good. So it's like, what's the point of even having a D2 in the first place? So I just have like one big competition, particularly in these weeks, and then, have like an underdog or something like that. So Alisson, Virgil van Dijk, nothing really controversial in here. They'd probably filter this down to my super rares and see what the highest projected scores are. So Alisson, Virgil, could run the defensive stack and go Kanate as well. Declan Rice at home is a reasonable one. I've only really got Martinelli at home as well, so I'm probably going to be running sort of double defence. Matoma against Ipswich, quite tempting as well, so probably be doing that. Damsgaard also been really good. Declan Rice probably a bit more reliable, but I think capable of getting some goals at Ipswich or Brighton. Martinelli, probably just run the double defence. Just makes sense. I think Kanate's back. Rice a good option at home, but probably do something along the lines of that and just go out, think outside the box. Captain Kanate, look at that score he put in the last game. It could work, It's a tight game for Liverpool and Nottingham Forest. Matoma bags a decisive. Martinelli, will get some joy against that Tottenham defence, I think. So there we go. Probably should just sell them, to be honest, for the sake of trying to win a tier 2. Anyway, I wouldn't rule that out, but so if you see them on the market soon, that's the thought process. Anyways, the downside of divisions, I would say. So in terms of rare, let's see. I think I'm going to go sort of quite Brighton heavy in this game. I mean, Brighton are playing against Ipswich and definitely can get some joy there. I don't have in season what's happened there? I don't have in season Liverpool stacks and all that type of stuff. So I know I've said something a bit more negative there about Sorare, but I love this new overview. Look at that. Look at how much better that is. Look, so you can see a couple of teams. Especially helped me last week as well because there was Celtic news come out 23, so I had to go in and start moving things about, and being able to see 4 or 5 teams in the same screenshot is just miles better. I mean, this is my It should be my default view. I don't know why it's went back off. It's probably just because I'm a couple of game weeks ahead. But for min-season crushers, let's set that lineup. So as I said, I probably will want to go. I mean, I could use an Allison in here again, but probably want to go with Bart, right? Bart for Bruggen. Ipswich, they're well capable of scoring at home, but, you know, it is what it is. Really. I've only really got Bart for Bruggen and Flecken. I don't really fancy playing Flecken at Man City, although he'll be a busy boy. Probably do like about 40 or something there and concede about 10. Defence wise, so Lewis Dunks, Eight Nuri's an interesting one. Purvis Estepinian, he's been taking some sets, Purvis, so it looks like he's sort of fancied to start at the moment. I don't think a lot of people will play Purvis. Probably play JP Van Heket. Why is it not working? Ferdy still not even get a picture. Poor guy's injured all the time, doesn't even get a picture or anything. So yeah, Purvis. I'll put him in provisionally. I think Matoma will come back in. Did set out recently, so you'd have to fancy he's going to come back in. Could gamble on Matt O'Reilly as well. Don't think a lot of people will do that. Now, João Pedro's an interesting one. I don't know what's going to happen with him. Is he going to be back in? I could run a Mo Salah. Could run an Embuemo. Hope that Man City don't do well, which have been conceding a lot of goals this season, but who's high in the projected scores? Welbeck, I don't know if he'll play. Mo Salah. Tough game against Nottingham Forest, I must admit. It is a tough game. Minty had a wee bit of an injury there. João Pedro see only 20% on this sheet to play. I don't think I'm going to be playing full Liverpool stack, if that makes sense. So I'll probably just mix in a Mo Salah here. I mean, he has been quite reliable. Even if he gets like goal and assist, that's like probably enough. Did I take a gamble on Matt O'Reilly? I mean, he's well capable of the AA. He's well capable of getting a goal and an assist. Do I have him in season O'Reilly? I don't even have an in season O'Reilly, so probably not. I think go with Brian and Buemo. You know, Brighton to have a tight game, Matoma to nick a decisive, and Buemo at home against Manchester City. That's probably a strong reason to pick him. He's on fire. Manchester City have been conceding a lot this season. I think they'll score against Flecken though, so yeah, I could do something like that. There we go. That's an attempt at it, if that makes sense. It'd be quite interesting to see. I always do like seeing what predictions are on Sorare data, right? Because what happens a lot of the times is that you get these games and maybe Sorare data recommends a certain stack, and then you get like 20 or 30 people run that stack. So I prefer using the spreadsheet. You'll not have seen me in the lineup builder that much, but it's interesting to see what it recommends because it gives me an idea as to what I'm going to be playing against and also what the suggestion is for Premier League Division 1. So yeah, it's not too far away actually. Van Heck over Estepinian, Damsgaard there as well, in against Man City too, and Mo Salah captain against Nottingham Forest. I can see that. I mean, Mo Salah's on absolutely insane form, but although he's on insane form, Nottingham Forest are really good at home. That's my only thing with that. I guess I could put in John Paul Van Heck. I'll see. I want to have a look and see. I don't know if there's any Brighton prediction up on Predictor Fiaz yet. Premier League. Yeah, there's a Brighton prediction up. Let's have a look at that. Should have done that first. So Reuter's expected to play. That makes sense. João Pedro with about an injury. Matoma at 70%. O'Reilly's on in at 40%. It's probably a good idea to leave him out. Purvis expected to play. John Paul Van Heck. The thing is, Purvis has been taking some sets. Minty does take some sometimes as well. They kind of share that about a lot. But Minty, the wee injury issue at the weekend. I think Brian Gruda might play. So there we go. What else have we got on midweek? So that's a couple of lineups. I guess we could do some Celtic stuff, right? So Let's do that. All-Star should show up here. Bundesliga I'm going to leave just now because I want to play Schlotterbeck, and from that point of view I think that I'm going to have to wait and see. Yeah, All-Star doesn't show here. I need to go into Discover All competitions. Under 23 wise, don't know if I've actually got a goalkeeper for midweek for that, so don't have one for super rare. If I do have any for rare or for limited, we'll do a team for that and we'll use a sheet for that as well. Rare. Yeah, I can play Bart in there actually, so I've got another Bart. Yeah, let's do that. So let's pick the rare team and then we'll go back to All-Star. So again, on the sheet, it's pretty handy. You can put under 23s, rare, see who from your own gallery. So this is not just the overall fixtures. Obviously, if you want to go and look there, want to add somebody in, that's a different chat altogether. Bernabei won't play. I can play Saliba in here, so that would be the natural place to put Saliba in, I think, against Tottenham. Not an easy game, right enough, but midfield wise, I could use the Damsgaard in here. See, he's quite favoured. He has been doing well, takes sets and everything. Anyone else standing out from one gallery? Baleba, could use him in here as well. Musiala's out. He'd definitely be playing a Musiala, I would have thought, but let's see how he gets on. Damsgaard, definitely a shout. Doing well in EPL, and Manchester City not quite the team they were, obviously not got Rodri. I think I'm going to keep Wirtz for Bundesliga D1, just because this is only a D2 and, you can't even win any stars, don't think, so probably keep Wirtz for that. Sanda Giao at Como, quite interesting. I think he'll do well there. João Pedro is out, or struggling. Wirtz, not as high as I expected him to be, and Ciso's there. Brian Gruda, do have a Brian Gruda card, could use him. Martinelli, might go Martinelli actually. I don't tend to use him elsewhere, but kind of fit in with if he pings, then I've used him in our team as well. And got the extra, so who's standing out based on stats here? It's quite a hard midweek, isn't it, right? But the divisions are open, so Baleba, 68. Bernabei's not going to play. Jurien Timber can go for double defence. It's going to be an interesting one against Spurs. Timber is good though. Nathaniel Brown at home. There we go. That's using Nathaniel Brown at home. He's been really good this season, Nathaniel Brown. I think he'll go for Saliba, captain. Just, yeah. Playing at home, Sorare, might get a wee clearance off the line, might come up with a jaggy on it. Woof! Heater at the back post. Going to do the limited lineup as well, and then I'll do an all-star one, and then that will do. Hopefully you guys enjoy a bit more lineup creation as well. I haven't been doing that as much, but there's other issues with that. For example, I don't want to just tell everybody what I'm running for Celtic teams and everything, given that the edges are so close there. Like, obviously I know I've got the best cards, but I get beaten regularly, so I could run Bart in here. I've got a Stolarczyk. I think I'll probably just run him, because Bart will probably want to be keeping for the EPL cash comp, etc. Defence wise, I think it's probably just going to be Saliba again. Cavardio was tempting, but it's away from home. I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet. It's a pretty strong team though, so Saliba. Midfield, I do have guys like Enzo. I can play Michael Elise. It makes sense, projected 76. Probably an element of rotation there, given he's just played, but you look at form he's on, guys, a really good player. Guy I enjoy watching as well, must admit. Probably will play a Flo Wirtz in here, because Cole Palmer, I'd imagine, is going to be getting in the cash comps for something or another. Likely a Chelsea stack at home to Bournemouth, I would have thought. So, Palmer 78, Nicholas Jackson there 64. Could play a Damsgaard in here as well. I'll put in Wirtz at the moment. I think he'll be back in the team. Wirtz and Elise is a nice combination there. And midfield wise, or extra wise, not even midfield. So I could go with Damsgaard. It's been really good. I think that's quite a strong. It's not quite a strong. It is a strong team. Going to go for first captain because he's well capable of the big score. And then Verbruggen gives me my sort of EPL cash entry. Not a fan of Robert Sanchez. I wish they just get Jorgensen in. Anyways, the bonuses we've got to the end. I'll let you know what I would probably do with Celtic. So you see that a lot of people put their good cards into other divisions. So this should be okay for Celtic actually. I mean, it gives a bit of flexibility and yeah, I mean, a tier one All Stars pretty good. So you see, I'm going to be using both of my Casper Schmeichels in here. So go for Casper in season for the first team. In terms of defence, Scales, definitely one you could risk. Carter Vickers, say probably more of a risk again. Johnson, unlike him to have that sort of issue. I think Greg Taylor should be back in. Be interested to see how. I mean, Celtic defence put up. Look at the scores they're putting up. Look, Trusty's on 77. He's averaging. I think Vickers more likely to be rotated than Trusty. Midfield wise, McGregor probably not that likely to be rotated. Could mix in a Declan Rice, but I won't. So that's that then. I might put McCowan in my second team. Engel's been really good. I'm just a wee bit worried that he gets rotated. That's the problem. So it's being cautious, but Cal McGregor has got goals and assists this season, and that's what it is. Up front, Maeda and Kuhn are risks, so I think with the form he's on, you're going to have to go with Kyogo. And then methinks I'll probably bugger it. Trusty and Vickers have been sensational, so that could definitely win. Who's had the better of the scoring? Both doing pretty well. A lot of time Trusty gets the ball, progresses the ball a wee bit more, maybe slightly more A in terms of Vickers giving the ball to Trusty and maybe coming out a bit more. They've both done a bit of it, but there we go. That's kind of what I would do, or what I might do at super early level. I'm going to add the second team in as well, see what the differential team looks like. It's good to be able to have these options without worrying about getting relegated, right? So, Casper Schmeichel. Johnson, I've definitely got to use a big MXP Johnson, I think that goes without saying. Got another McGregor I can use. Could use Tatty, he's been pretty good. I'm going to go for McCown, he came on and scored, so is he, pretty good. And I think with a Dundee connection, that's going to be a possibility. I'm not going to be running anything in under 23s, so I think I just put Yang in here. So I think he's pretty nailed to playing. Did put up a good score last game, won a penalty, pretty good. And then who would be the last piece then to put in? Nicholas Kuhn. It's a risk. I think Trusty's the most nailed likely at the moment. You're only guessing Scales will play, and I think he's been dropped at the moment, so you go for us and Trusty in there as well. Johnson does a lot of the bigger hundreds. For that team, fun, go for like McCown. Bit of a risk, right? You probably should captain Johnson. Now I've done that, I'll do 100, because I captained him the weekend. I had him in my other team, he gave away a penalty and he just completely ruined everything. So anyway, as a recap, it's the end. Don't really have much running now. I don't think there's going to be much by way of rewards and everything midweek, but let's have a wee look and see what we have. This looks great, but there's a lot of boxes and there's a few that just won't hold in any way, and that's definitely not going to hold. This one's a bit unlucky, I guess. Well, not unlucky, but this is the one I picked Scales in. Why is it not showing up? There we go. Just loading. So, well, actually, penalty saved, so as a touch of luck. Trusty never get a clean sheet. Really good team with Engels and Furuhashi, and it's just a shame Scales in there. If any of the other Celtic defenders in there, apart from Johnson, I suppose, then that'd have been pretty good. And look at this view, how much better is that, by the way? Honestly, I'll not get $1,000 cash, that won't hold. And the other one that's got a chance of winning is the special. So this is the main sweat that's ongoing. Picked out quite a good one here. So Canales to come. For once, I want Canales to smash because he's still in my team and he's not playing against my super rare teams because they're gone, I think. Sergio Gomez hopefully play for Sociedad at home, and Griezmann captain today. So we'll see if we'll still get a sweat going into Monday. It depends how Griezmann does. But a wee decisive, pretty good home game against Osasuna as well. And that is still, as Quinny would say, podium dangerous. Anyway, if you've got to this point of the video, thanks very much again for watching. Please do like and subscribe, etc., because it's important for the channel. Nearly 2,000 subscribers now. But that is preview for midweek. We've added in a couple of minutes, added in some lineup selections and everything. If you have any queries about anything, hit us up in the comments. Say we probably will have something to open midweek. Celtic are playing midweek as well, so can't guarantee there'll be a video, but we'll be back with preview for next weekend, albeit there'll be no Celtic. Anyway, spend in customary fashion. Look, here's the goggles there. I say, good luck and go fuck.